Hades is a fun roguelike game that'll keep you coming back for more. What's cool about this game is that there are some choices to be made. Those choices can be made inside the dungeon and when you are preparing for it also. I started racking my brain on what to do sometimes. Now, couple this with some difficult enemies, 6 different weapon choices, Greek gods, and some daddy issues, there's some great time to be had in this game. Just look at all these reviews on Steam. If you need some help with your dungeon runs or want to know the ins and outs before you start this game, look no further. This is Silky Pop, and here are a bunch of tips for Hades.
You shall never reach the surface. Go, see for yourself.
One of the best boons are given by Chaos. Some of the perks are great and will almost always be super helpful. There are some downsides by accepting this boon though. First off, to enter the portal to see Chaos, you will need to give up some health. Then, when you select the boon, you will give yourself a curse that will last 3 or 4 encounters. They range from reduced life, to reduced speed, to hurting yourself if you just use your attack button. Yeah, thanks but no thanks. After you have endured the curse, you will be blessed with a buff. The Chaos boon is extremely helpful, but there are times where you shouldn't probably take it, like before a boss. I don't think you will want a debuff while fighting them. However, on the first floor of the dungeon, I would highly recommend taking it because the enemies are a lot easier to deal with while having a curse. Get that Chaos boon early and reap the benefits throughout the whole run. One boon I would highly recommend is the Divine Dash given by Athena. This will allow you to deflect all incoming damage while dashing. Being able to do this is probably the best ability in the game. Health is really essential in this game, and this will give you a quick way to avoid damage. Not only that, it's the best way to do damage to enemies that has projectile attacks. When I first started doing my dungeon runs, I will never pick up a dash ability unless it's from Athena. The next boon you should always keep on your radar is the Hammer boon. This will essentially change how you play the game. They will alter your attacks in a major way. Some are really good, and some are just fun. Try them all out and see which one you like. Try to think how they will combo with the boons from the gods. You can pick up the Hammer boon twice in a run, on the first floor in Tartarus and the third floor in Elysium. When I first started playing the game, I didn't use the cast ability much at all. It does 50 damage and it will get stuck in an enemy for about 10 seconds or until you kill it. That doesn't sound impressive at all. You can upgrade it in different ways from each god like your other attacks, but it was still never a priority for me. There are a couple upgrades you can buy from the mirror for it though. Infernal Soul will let you cast up to a total of 3 times. The Boiling upgrades will let you deal more damage if the cast is stuck in the enemy. I was then incentivized to constantly use and collect the cast as much as I can, adding more depth to the gameplay. Every time a shop appears, I can finally let go of my breath that I've been keeping. In each level, the shop will appear twice. After the second appearance, the boss room will appear. You should really keep note if it's the first or second shop to know when the boss is coming. Also, I would recommend having at least 300 gold before entering the shop if you want to buy everything there. If not, have 150 gold to buy a boon from a god. I tend to have 300 gold by the second shop, so I usually skip the first one. But once you progress deeper in the game, visit the first shop because there's a chance something else will be waiting for you. I won't spoil what it is though. During your run, you'll pick up some nectars and you can give them to almost everybody. The first time you give them a nectar, they will in exchange give you a keepsake item. They will help you in different ways during your runs. The 3 keepsake items that I recommend early on is the coin purse from Hypnos, the broken spirit point from Patroclus, and the lucky tooth from Skelly. Now, this is how I usually start my runs. Before I start the dungeon, I equip the coin purse. At level 3, it will give me 150 gold coins from the start. Then after I beat the first level, I will switch it out with the broken spirit point. At level 3, after I get hit by an attack, I will be invulnerable for 1.5 seconds. This will allow me to dodge out of a dangerous way. Then when I know I might need an extra life, I will then equip the lucky tooth. There are a couple things to keep note of for the keepsakes. Some benefits will disappear if you unequip them, like the spike collar that gives hit points, and a lucky tooth that gives you an extra life. And when you do unequip a keepsake item, you will not be able to equip them again. So before you start each dungeon, make sure you equip the right one. I always make the mistake of having the lucky tooth equipped first. The palm upgrades are great to increase your damage, especially if you have an epic or heroic boon. I would usually pick this option when I don't need extra money or a boon from a god that I don't need. It might seem great to keep upgrading the boon that you have been using the most in that current run, but know that there are diminishing returns. You should really consider upgrading another boon from level 1 to level 2 because there's usually a bigger percentage buff. After level 3 or 4, the upgrades are quite minimal. One of the cool things about this game is that there are a lot of things you can do in this game. And once you progress in that game a little, you will open the faded list in your room. If you complete items on the list, you will be rewarded with jewels, diamonds, Titan Bloods, and others. Some of these are hard to complete, like collecting all the dual boons at least once. But there are some easier ones. Try to seek these out because they can give you items that can help upgrade your skills and abilities to help you clear the dungeons. It was really awkward for me at first, but the dash attack is something you should almost always be doing. Use it to get on the other side of the enemy and gain some invulnerability frames. Not only is it harder for the enemies to hit you, but you'll be doing damage also, especially if you have a boon on your dash ability. I really like to use Ares boon on the dash ability and lock an enemy in between two spinning blades. You might have a choice to enter a room with either jewels, darkness, or keys. They each unlock different things. The darkness will upgrade your abilities in the mirror, the keys will unlock weapons and different tiers of the mirror, and jewels will unlock dungeon upgrades. At first, I think you should focus on getting keys to unlock the weapons. Find a weapon you like and master it. Also, if you unlock all 6 weapons, you will then able to change the weapon's form and upgrade them. Then after that, start upgrading abilities in the mirror. Some of the key abilities I would recommend is the Greater Reflex for another dash, Death Defiance for an extra life, Infernal Soul for 2 additional casts, and Deep Pockets for some starting gold. I really didn't concentrate on getting the jewels, but was able to get enough during my runs to get some upgrades. Honestly, this tip is based on your preference. If you really want to upgrade an ability from the mirror, do it first. One of my favorite things to do in video games is fishing. I was so surprised and happy when I found out I could do it in Hades. You can unlock the fishing rod with the contractor. You will hear a bell when you enter a room or after a battle letting you know there is a fish waiting for you to be caught. Turn them in to the chef and get some rewards. Some of the strongest abilities in the game are the dual boons. When you fulfill some requirements, you will sometimes be offered these. They can really make your dungeon runs a lot easier, but sometimes these boons aren't that great or helpful for your build. I would sometimes pass them up, but maybe it is still a good idea to pick them up because they sell for a high price. The Pool of Purging will let you sell off your boons. They spawn after boss fights or randomly throughout the dungeon. The dual boons sell for around 400 gold pieces, but the Pool of Purging will randomly pick 3 of your boons. The chances of a dual boon being sold become smaller if you keep picking up different boons, but it's worth it if you're able to sell it. The Titan Bloods you receive from defeating the bosses in the List of Fates are used to upgrade your weapons. Each weapon has 4 different forms to choose from, and each one can be upgraded. If you're not sure if you want to invest a few precious Titan Bloods that you have into a form you're not sure of, don't worry. What you can do is this. Use your Titan Bloods on a form that you want to try out. Test out the weapon. If you don't like it, do not leave the room. Quit the game first. When you load back in, your Titan Bloods will still be there. If you do leave the room, the game will automatically save and the Titan Bloods you had invested will be permanent. And these are my Hades tips for beginners. If you think I missed out on some important tips, leave them in the comments for others to see. Thank you for watching my video. This is Silky Pop. See ya!